EUROGAMER came out today and gave Arc Raiders a 2-star out of 5-star review. What's weird about it is that the review was pretty much glowing about the game itself. The reviewer really enjoyed the game, had some really great things to say about it. Rich player versus environment combat, unusually friendly community make Arc Raiders a more approachable extraction shooter than most. I'm playing the crap out of this game right now, like a lot of people are. I'm about 11 hours in. I am loving it. I'm not a big multiplayer guy, not a big extraction guy, but this game is just addictive and interesting and well made and just fun. So I understand why fans of it might be kind of annoyed by the low score, feeling it doesn't seem justified, especially when he says such nice things about it. He talks about the AI being quite brilliantly designed individually and collectively. He talks about the community playing the game that is really friendly for the most part, and sort of how the game seems to have intended that with some of its design choices, and I have noticed that. I've also noticed it when they turn on you, the other humans, and it becomes PvP.
Hello.
Hey, I'm not gonna kill you. Don't kill me. There's a really neat kind of sense of betrayal that happens. Again, maybe this happens in all extraction shooters, but with the voice proximity chat and the betrayal, like I had a guy kill me and he's like, "Sorry, dude, I just really wanted your gun." And I'm like, and it really, you have a feeling when you're playing it that you don't have when you're playing other games. So, I mean, there's a lot great about this game, and the reviewer pretty much gives it a 4 out of 5-star review. His issue is the voice acting in the game and how it is done by AI. Now, not all of the voices. My understanding is the characters, the NPCs like these guys.
Come in, Raider, but mind the tripwires. Just kidding. Mostly. If you run out of bullets, there's often ways to improvise, provided you're creative enough.
We've been trying to crack open those crates for ages, but so far, all of our attempts have destroyed the contents as well.
Step into my office, which is also my clinic, shop, and break room.
My understanding is those actors have come in and they have recorded their lines. He's talking more about the lines that are kind of one-off throwaways, that it's you communicating with your teammates or with anybody in the environment. Things like this.
Looking for a surge shield recharger. I've got a staff room key.
So these are based on what you happen to be carrying at any given time, the state of it, how damaged it is, various places in the map that you might want to tell your friends you want to go to or where something is, assuming you're not using a microphone. Now, the way these voices were recorded,
I have a bandage. I've got a blaze grenade.
Where they brought actual actors in, they recorded their voices, and then they've used AI to take those voices and they can write whatever they want. Very similar to this service right here that you can use on the internet.
This voice you hear is from a live actor whose voice has been fed into the AI. The live actors were paid and credited.
And now the AI company uses their code to add inflection and emotion based on how the original performer spoke.
Now you can make them say whatever you want, and they've signed up for that. That's the bee in the bonnet, though, that this guy is struggling with, this reviewer. And it's a fine thing to not like, I suppose. I don't have a problem with AI in general, but your mileage can vary, and that's your right, and on and on and on. And where your line is going to be different for almost everybody. But I don't take issue, even though I think it's personally ridiculous, like what, the team's going to add a new gun and they're going to have to bring in the voice actor again. I mean, it's not just the money involved and like, okay, let's get the person out here. I mean, God, you could find a million things to complain about with this, right? It's like, well, why was your voice acting not very good in those parts? Well, we needed somebody in the office because we didn't want to hire somebody that we'd have to that was a better actor, but they'd have to come out, they'd have to get a full day's work, and it would take us a week to set up travel or whatever. Then they'd complain about, oh, you just don't really care about treating, voice actors well. It's just like, look, man, people have to it's a business. People have to kind of figure out where they want to spend their energy and their money. They're supposed to add a brand new gun to the game, and every time they do, bring this guy or this girl out, set them up, feed them lunch, pay them per diem, sign the contracts just to get somebody to say, hey, there's a bloody bandage here, right? I mean, come on. But again, that's fine. If you want to be a purist about it, great. But that's not even really the reason he's dinging it. The reason he's dinging it is he has a point. He has a point. But here's where this kind of goes off the rails a little bit. The issue is, he says, that the game itself, the essence of the narrative, is about AI replacing humanity. And it's true. You get sent up as humans to the surface that has been taken over by machines. And he's like, I just can't square that in my head, that the narrative of your game is basically absolutely thrown out the window when you consider that you made the game with the philosophy of the very people that in the game that you're fighting. You are the bad guys. You are the AI. It's also a little presumptuous for him to make the assumption that the humans are the good guys, the AIs are the bad guys. I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm just saying that if you're going to write this kind of article / review, and you're going to plant a flag and say, this game isn't good because the narrative doesn't match the way they made it, well, maybe you at least need to entertain in your article the fact that maybe the developer's like, hey, it totally matches. We're using AI to make it because we know fundamentally humans are flawed. And the reason that, we got this way in the game state of this apocalyptic world is because humans are shit. And they allowed it to get this way. So humans can't be trusted to do the work that the AI can do. I'm not saying that's what the team intended, but I'm saying that if you're going to write an article of this type or a review of this type, then you probably shouldn't be making assumptions that everybody just is like, oh, well, yeah, this is the good and this is the bad, and thus this is my logic. It's like you have to explore it a little bit deeper, get into the subtext of it, and I don't think he did that in this review. And I think somebody like an editor because the editor-in-chief over at Eurogamer really, they talked about this. They knew this was going to cause a shitstorm. But I think they didn't think about it correctly. I think if the game asks you to really buy into the story, and it was a game like The Last of Us Part 2 or something, and it lived or died by you connecting with the narrative and the subtext of that narrative, then I would understand the guy going, the game is great, but I don't see how I can, in good faith, give this a great review when the very essence of what the game is trying to be, which is this narrative about AI, is being totally shit upon by the way the game itself was made. Even at that point, I would question, does that belong in a review? Yes, you should tell the story about how this game was developed, but that's not really what you're reviewing. But even in the case, though, if the narrative of a game like this was the bread and butter of it, I could see it being a real, not 50-50, but almost 50-50, which way the wind is blowing on, do we go with this 2-star review or not? But in the case of Arc Raiders, yeah, that is the narrative, but the narrative is kind of irrelevant. Like I said, I'm 11 hours in. I'm aware of what the narrative is. I'm enjoying it, but it's not like I'm coming back to Arc Raiders over and over and over because the game has me wrapped up in its message and its story and sort of how I feel about the game when the subtext begins to reveal itself. And I'm like, oh my God, this game is really about X, Y, Z. Then of course, I could understand the dilemma, but that's not this game. This is a mechanics-based game. This is all about, you could strip out the entire narrative of this game and just make things abstract, and it would still be addictive and a blast to play. So I think the Eurogamer editor-in-chief should have been like, look, I appreciate your take on this. Your take's not even wrong. There's something here to be said about this, and you're saying it well, and you can even put it as a sidebar, but you're not really reviewing the game at this point. You're just opining. And again, you have a right to do that. But don't call it a review, I guess, would be my thing. So that's my take on it. The guy's not wrong about his point. I don't agree with him. I don't care about the same things he cares about, but I do think the Eurogamer brand in general, or the people who run the brand, should have gone, I don't think so. This, we're not publishing this as is. So that's what I think.